Welcome to Tejano Virtual Events. This session is Connect with EPCC Mental Health Committee, Demystifying, Asking for, and Seeking Help, presented by Christian Salas, LMSW, Assistant Professor of Social Work Chair, EPCC Mental Health Committee Advisor, EPCC Social Work Club. This session will be recorded so that you may come back to it later if you need, and so others who may have missed out on today's events will be able to come and watch it. Thank you. So now, at this time, please mute your mics for the best sound experience. Otherwise, the feedback could interfere with information we will be sharing today. Without further ado, I'll pass it on to our presenter so that we may begin.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. As per usual, first and foremost, can everybody hear me? Can everybody see me? That's kind of the excellent. You know, that's kind of the way we start meetings and presentations nowadays. Didn't have to do that when you're in person, but hey, we adapt to what we got. All right. Again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you are catching us. Now, again, my name is Chris Salas. As mentioned, I'm Assistant Professor of Social Work here at El Paso Community College, based out of Valle Verde. And today we'll be talking about I would say, not an easy topic, and one that probably a lot of people don't really think about. And so, in essence, it's about asking for help, right? What are some of the things that go into people maybe not wanting to ask for help? What are some of the things that you might need help with? And finishing off with, in essence, just some really quick potential tips or different types of help and assistance that might be available for all faculty, staff, and students of our wonderful district, both here within EPCC and in the El Paso community. So, first and foremost, I would like to make some acknowledgments. First, I wouldn't be here if it wouldn't be because of the hard work and dedication that is put forth and done by my fellow colleagues and the members of the El Paso Community College Mental Health Committee. As mentioned, I'm actually privileged to. I was looking back. I've been the chair for this committee for going on about 3 years now. So. I've been honored to serve as the chair for this committee for the past 2-3 years now. And again, seeing the wonderful work that my fellow colleagues have been doing to ensure and bring awareness to the mental health of all Tejanos, our faculty, staff, and obviously our students. And obviously, a huge thanks to our TBE staff, the Student Support Success Center over at EPCC. Much appreciation for the great collaboration and the work that we have fostered. And so, again, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for these two entities. All right. If you've been to any of my presentations before, you know I don't do this whole learning outcomes. I don't do what you should know. I call it my spoiler alerts, simply because this is where you get to see, is this presentation going to be good, or is it, well, not going to be so great? So here's some of the little things that we'll be talking about. You know, what someone might need help with. Why is it hard to why is it hard to ask for help? How can we ask for help? And again, like I mentioned, finish off with some resources that are available for our students, both here at EPCC, within the El Paso community, and then just talk about how we can pay that forward. All right, so let's get to it. When we talk about help, I mean, this list is really not extensive. It's something that just came to mind. But in reality, if I just helped a buddy move yesterday. So that's something that people might need help with, right? Help move, help do things. But think about your daily activities. Think of the daily things that make up your day. What are some of the things that you potentially might need assistance with? Well, school, right? Schoolwork, your finances. I know I do. I get money, on payday, and it burns a hole through my pocket. I'm definitely not the business or not the money savvy person in our family. Relationships, bills, childcare, right? Assistance taking care of the kiddos if you have kiddos. Mental health. Stress, family can be a big one. Addiction, you know, in recent years we've seen this word addiction really mold itself into many different things. Uh, our purple Bible that we as social workers and mental health providers use, the DSM-5, or the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual on Mental Health, that uh, provides all our criteria for diagnosing mental illnesses and mental disorders, has addiction usually. If you think of addiction when it comes to substance use, substance abuse, but there's things like gambling. And I honestly can see addiction to these puppies, right? Our lovely cell phones, gaming, internet, television, and things of that nature. Yeah, actually, caffeine. There is two types of diagnoses for caffeine. Actually, there's no caffeine use disorder, but there's a caffeine withdrawal and caffeine. Oh goodness, you put me on the spot, and I completely drew blank. But there's no caffeine use disorder. In other words, in essence, there's no, you're not addicted to caffeine, but there might be a withdrawal, and I believe it's I can't think of the second one for the mind of me, but there's no caffeine use disorder, which is in essence kind of saying addicted to caffeine. So yeah, great question, actually. Thank you. Spring breakitis, definitely. Yeah, especially with if you have kiddos and they've been in spring break for a week now, and you're trying to figure out what the heck to do with them while you're still not on spring break. That's a whole different addiction. Oh, I guess that falls into the issues with work. Your health, right? This could be physical, it could be mental health. Food insecurity. When is your next meal? When are you going to put food on the table next? Where is the next meal going to come from? The loss, if you're grieving with a loss, we saw this a lot, especially during COVID, where, unfortunately, we lost a lot of people. And in coming back to whatever the semblance of normalcy, depending on, and again, whether you want to call it that we're out of the pandemic, we're on the cusp of ending the pandemic, we're back to quote unquote normal, there was a lot of loss, both physical and losing of individuals, loss of jobs, loss of, in some instances, even education, financial loss. So again, the definition of what loss is. Housing, what is your situation with housing? Do you need a roof over your head, period? Do you not know when you're going to have a home over your head or not? What is housing? For some individuals, housing is being in your car. You live out of your car. You live out of someone else's home. So again, what are the definitions? How do you see these issues? The future, people that need assistance even thinking about or planning for the future. The past, people that maybe don't let go of the past, or things that happen in the past that are affecting them now. In my line of work as a past mental health professional, and having dealt with individuals that are in treatment for mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, there are substantial issues that occurred in their past, in their childhood, in recent years, that are affecting their future, even their present, right? So what might have happened? Do you need assistance with things in the past that are impeding you or creating barriers for you to continue on? Your weight, you might be struggling with your weight, right? Is it lack of motivation? All jokes aside, we talk about how it's cheaper to buy a dollar menu burger or item than it is to buy a salad, to buy a ginormous thing of cola, whether it's Pepsi, Diet Coke, whatever. You can get like a 64-ounce tub of soft drink at McDonald's or wherever, but it's like $1.99 to buy a 20-ounce bottle of water. So again, even when it comes to weight, it's not all put on individuals' shoulders. Self-esteem, the way that you see yourself, right? Your grades tie into school again in some essence. And even expectations. What are the expectations? Do you need assistance? Is someone kind of blurring your vision as to what the expectations of you are for the future, for right now? And so, like I said, this is not even close to being an extensive list of things that individuals might well be dealing with. So I encourage you all to maybe take a couple of minutes, not too many, a couple of maybe half a minute or 20, 15 seconds or so. If you'd like to put in the chat, what are some of the things, and you don't have to say that this is what I deal with, but what else might you need help with? What might be going on in your life, in friends' lives, in your family, maybe things that you've dealt with in the past that you could potentially be needing help with, needing assistance with. Motivation to get my final assignment. Yeah, right. I preach this a lot, but sometimes I do as I say, not as I do. I procrastinate sometimes, and it comes back and bites me in the booty when it's like, wow, now I have all this due by tomorrow, when I could have started it last week. So definitely motivation, procrastination, time management. Yeah. Weight, yeah, Norma. A huge motivation for me was when the doctor's like, your liver's pretty much frying itself, and that lit a fire under my booty. And 100 pounds later, still got a ways to go, but definitely did some soul searching there myself. But as you can see, we all could help. We get a little help in really any aspect of our lives, right? I'm also very positive and very sure that anyone watching this, whether it's now or later on, you guys are more than willing to provide assistance to others, regardless of what some of these issues might be, right? You might be able to provide motivation, guidance, assistance, maybe point them in the right direction, tell your personal experience so they can get motivated. It's kind of like, if I can do it, so can you. So this isn't just about, I need help with this and I need help and it's me. No, I can assure you, like I said, that everyone on here would be more than willing to assist anyone else on here, or again, later on, whoever watches this, in whatever it is that they need assistance with. So why is it so difficult to ask for help then, right? It basically boils down to a couple of things. And again, the list for why it's so hard can be extremely extensive as well. We could categorize, or at least put them into some of these categories. Exactly. So we can think of culture, social perspectives, right? So culture, think of what culture do you ascribe to? And that could be your definition of culture, right? This could be whether you associate yourself as a Chicano, whether you associate yourself as Black, as whatever religion, whatever origin, whatever ethnicity, race, whatever and however you perceive yourself. What is the culture that you ascribe to? That, in essence, can sometimes push you or pull you in one direction, right? How did you grow up? Was it okay in your household, again, within your culture and the norms that were instilled in you by your family? Was it okay for you to ask for help? Or was it like, you got this, go do it? What about your social perceptions? This can be even internally. What do you perceive as society thinking of you if you ask for help? Right? And it was, I believe it was mentioned on the chat for everybody that exactly, you must be weak to need help. Yeah, that might be your perception, right? That if I can't do it, you know what? If I can't do it on my own, then why even ask? I don't want to be looked at as weak or inferior or whatever, this and that. Nah, you know what? I'm not about that. Let me try it out. And if I fail, oh well, whatever. And ourselves, and that really ties into it, right? We might even put our own roadblocks into this. And sometimes it even depends on the type of help that we need. Do I need money, or, hey, can I just get a ride? But then that can kind of tie into itself, because you might have this perception or this inkling that if I ask someone for assistance, I owe them something back, right? It's a give and take. I can tell you this. I have lifelong friends now, that we joke around that our relationship is going to be a college graduate soon, right? Because of how long we've known each other and how long we've been buddies for. We've all been to each other's weddings. We've been there for babies and births, and even moving from part of the town to another, to loss within our families and such. And at some point or another, we've all helped each other do this, do that, with money, with paying for lunch, with this, that we all really lost track of time of who owes who what. And I think our relationships have really evolved to the point where, you know what, it's not about what you owe me. It's not about what I owe you. It's just, it's just freely given. But I think that comes with time. I remember if I had this conversation with him back, 20 years ago, yeah, that old, that would not be the case. You're like, yo, I paid for lunch last time, man. Your turn. So definitely age, and I don't want to say maturity, because even though we're all educated, and we were talking about how many master's degrees does it take to screw a light bulb, and we're like, well, there's 5 of us in the room, and so 5. But maturity definitely has nothing to do with it. All right, let's look into some of these. Like I said, what might keep you from asking for help? Fear, even rejection. Think about it, right? If we want to take this and really dive into the psychological reasoning behind why it's so hard for us to ask for help, this can potentially go into age groups and such, right? During adolescence, you're trying to fit in, even early adulthood, where you're trying to work into your relationships, and you've found where you kind of belong, and the friends and such. But at the same time, it's more of, what can I do to appease other people so that, I can get those close-knit relationships and create those intimate bonds and such. So the fear of rejection can be extreme. So our fear could potentially create a barrier for ourselves, right? We are building that own barrier. We're already thinking of what others are going to say, or at least in our mind, we're already thinking rejection. We're already saying, nah, you know what? I really don't want to. And this is just with people that we know. Now, let's take a step back and think of, imagine if you are having issues with paying your bills. You're falling behind on your credit card, on your car bill, your grades. Now it's interactions with people that you might not really have that close relationship with, right? At first, we're talking about buddies, friends, family members. Now we're talking about someone I've never met. So why the heck are they going to care about what I want, what I need? So I'm not even going to bother, right? We decline all those phone calls from from Capital One, from the bank, from the hospital, from all these places, because I don't want to talk to them. No, they're just going to say I owe money, and they're not going to help me, and we create that own barrier. Like I said, our culture also has a lot to do with it, right? I grew up in a Hispanic household. I'll always make jokes about, I was raised by a very, very Mexican grandmother with a very Mexican mom and a very Mexican family. You all think of what that means. But it was a lot of, I want to do this. Go for it. Okay. Well, I need to do this. There it is. Go for it. And I better not, if I asked for help, that means I've tried it already. I've tried it, and I just can't get it. Was that really the situation? No. They were really instilling in me like, hey, try it yourself, right? Kind of the self-esteem, confidence, boost up that morale, that self-worth. Other cultures might see that as like, wow, that's really detached. That's really cold. Why wouldn't you help your child? Why wouldn't you do this? Again, different cultures, right? Different ways of being raised. Even within societies, right? We go beyond culture to societies. Different things might be interpreted differently. You know, we are part of the Western hemisphere, the Western world per se, not the show on HBO or Cinemax or whatever, but we not idolize, but we hold higher some particular traits compared to that of maybe the Eastern world, right? Like Asia, China, Japan. Whereas, take for example, being shy. Being shy in the Western culture is seen as a sign of weakness. You can't communicate well. You can't make decisions. You're not decisive. You're not in the face. You're not a go-getter. Meanwhile, shyness in an Asian family or an Asian culture is seen as a very strong leadership characteristic. It's seen as you kind of involve everybody. Your shyness is seen as you're not directing and telling people what to do. You're taking it all in. And you're taking information from here, from here, from here, and using all that to make a decision that's going to benefit the sum of the parts rather than one bit of the big picture. So again, these traits might be seen differently by different cultures. Lack of knowledge, again, the same. What if you don't know where to go for help? That also impedes asking for help. What if you don't know what it is that you need help with? Right? In school, you get a bad grade, you need assistance with this. If you're having a difficulty with your notes, with making it to class, if you're part of, we don't have hybrid courses per se anymore, but if there's an online section, but you don't really know how to use Blackboard and the discussion features and accessing video lectures, that's a lack of knowledge, of not knowing necessarily how to use the technology that's available for you. Or even that you can rent a laptop from EPCC, that there is a Blackboard help desk that can assist you with Blackboard. That, guess what? Your faculty, me included, we also had to learn how to use Blackboard. So we would also, I would hope, would be a good resource, right? So come to us if we need assistance. But again, even just the lack of knowledge of where to go for whatever it is that you might need assistance with. Time, some people just don't have time per se, right? Time management. Even if certain things are available for you to seek as a resource, they might be open or they might be available during times that don't really fit your schedule. Right? Believe me, us as faculty, this is something that comes to our mind often, or at least I hope comes to our mind often, because like things like this is an online presentation, right? I can literally be in my home. I can be having lunch, pop over, turn my laptop on, log in, boom, I'm here presenting. Instead of being in my office, having to walk somewhere, introduce, it's rather convenient, right? This will be recorded. It will be made available for anyone who would like to watch it at another time if they weren't able to come today. What are we? March, whatever day today is. 13th, no, not 13th, 10th at 1 p.m. But that's not the case everywhere else. There's things that are open 8 to 5, and that's it. They're not open after that. Some people work 8 to 5. Some people work till 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Some people work the graveyard shift, sleep during the day. Some people got to pick up their kids. Some people. So again, what does that time look like? Misunderstanding goes along with stigma. What is it that you might not know about accessing services? Do you know what the eligibility for some of the services that are around town are? Do you know that for even mental health services, things like Family Services of El Paso, the Child Guidance Center of El Paso, a lot of these nonprofit organizations, they don't charge you a flat rate. Most of these places understand that the people that need help more often than not do not have the means to access this help. Therefore, they might the amount that you pay for these services might be based solely on your income. And so the less income you have, the lower your rate is going to be. Some instances, depending on grants, depending on funding, you might receive free services. You might receive services at $5, $10, $15. Whereas out of pocket for some other agencies, you're talking about $100, $200, $300 per session. Believe me, the first time I found out how much people were paying out of pocket to come see me as a therapist, I realized I couldn't afford me if I ever had to see myself. Right. Yeah, the copay. So in other words, it's the way that the agencies have their billing system set up to assist individuals that can't provide or they can't pay out of pocket or even have insurance to cover part of the amount that they would pay for an actual session. You might end up seeing an intern, which is a student that is in the master's program, either in social work or in counseling, but receiving supervision by a fully licensed professional. Or you might be seeing somebody who either doing pro bono work as a therapist, or again, because of the funding stream that they have that says this funding is going solely to individuals that are, right above the poverty line, or like the 100 or 200 or whatever under the poverty line, and so on and so forth. So there's definitely different ways in which that amount that you pay for your services can be even as low as nothing. But again, some individuals don't know that. The stigma of seeking help, just like we said, how are you going to be seen if you do ask for help? Simple as not how you're going to be seen, but what are your perceptions, right? As we see, not what is your family going to think of you? You can't provide for your own family. Why didn't you come to us instead of having to go to some stranger, right? And at the end of the day, it can come back to us. All these that we just mentioned are really instilled in us. And what are we doing? What are we thinking that is potentially driving us down that path? We have mental health fair. Yeah, Norma, we actually, that's through the mental health committee. We are taking these mental health resource fairs on kind of a roadshow around the EPCC district. There was the Mission del Paso was this past March. You're correct. It was last week, actually. Yeah, you're correct. Last semester, it was at Northwest. And it looks like the fall will be at Valle Verde, and next spring will be at Rio Grande. And you're correct. We had about 22 local and internal, in other words, EPCC groups that were present, again, bringing information to students. I much appreciate it. Thank you. No, it's all the group. Yeah, I have an awesome team. But yeah, that's what we're trying to do. And actually, to kind of give you a little bit more, we're looking at our next event, the one at Valle Verde, is to invite maybe someone from either from the EPCC TV or from MassCom or Mass Communications Program to come and record short videos from each agency for us to put in a video library, so that, again, we can help promote the services that are available for students, faculty, and staff, where these agencies can, in essence, in about 3 minutes, 5 minutes, just give you the fact, right? we are so and so. These are the services we provide. This is how you can seek our services. Here's our information. Boom, 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 boom. Right? We don't need the 30-minute infomercial of do you blah, 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 do you blah. No, no. Hey, we're so and so. This is what we do. This is how you can get us to do that for you. Here's our contact information. Bam. Right? So we're looking at putting these videos together and creating a video library, either through a YouTube channel or access them through our mental health awareness website at EPCC. But again, that's something that's definitely in the works and something that the committee, the mental health committee, is really excited about bringing to fruition here in the next couple of months. Huh. I might have to. Oh, interesting. Well, thank you, but I'm going to have to talk to you about that because, yeah, that's definitely something that we need to look into. So this is kind of, I always tell people there's always that one slide or that one part of the presentation when people go like, really? I came for this. I could have figured this on my own. Well, we're at that part of the presentation. How can you ask for help? Anybody know this, right? Nike. Do you guys know what Nike's slogan is? Anybody on the chat? Let's take a quick shot at it. What is the Nike slogan? Just do it. Yep. That's exactly it. Just do it. All jokes aside, guys. I mean, again, if you one of these days, I need to buckle down and give a legitimate, non-sarcastic presentation, but probably not going to happen anytime soon. But you know, I use this with our oldest all the time when I'm like, don't ask questions, just do it, right? Yeah, I just look at him and I'm like, yo, Nike it, buddy, Nike it. He's like, okay, Dad. I'm like, okay, come on. Right? I don't got to explain anything. I'm like, yo, just Nike it. So the same here, right? We just spend a good old about 20 minutes or so, about 20, 30 minutes talking about this, right? What could potentially keep us from asking for help, right? From culture to perceptions, the type of help, ourselves being one of the biggest issues. And so it boils down to, can we ourselves knock that wall down, right? Can we put all that stuff and really just knock it down? Can we get out of our own heads, in essence, right? Can we really go beyond and look beyond that and realize, like I started this conversation when we had the list of potential problems, and realize that people really are there willing to help, right? Whether it's a friend, whether it's counselors, faculty, we're there to help, right? Family, friends, agencies. In reality, I mean, agencies in town that are aimed at assisting people are there to assist people. Granted, I know sometimes people might seem like they're not the friendliest of people when you go ask for things or ask for assistance. That's a personal problem on their end, and I'm not being sarcastic. I mean, I really feel that's maybe they're dealing with something on their end that's potentially causing them to act that way. But it really is an agency. If an agency is there to provide services, that's their entire mission in life, is to provide assistance, to provide help for individuals. Before I get to the help at EPCC, I wanted to touch on even the words that we use to seek help, and how even the government, and this isn't going to get political in no way, shape, or form. Just think about it though. When we talk about welfare, right? When we talk about social programs that have been created by the government to assist individuals, constituents, aka you and me, it's seen as welfare, right? It's seen as an assistance program, program to help you with this, to help you with that. I can assure you that the majority of people in this conversation right now and that might be seeing this at a later time, if I mention the word welfare, will not have the best of thoughts come out, might not have the best of, well, view on it, right? If I say I'm on welfare, people might look at you different, like, wow, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? What do you need? But why? Right? Why does that word welfare have a negative connotation? Hmm. And so I tell my students, this is all part of our social services and welfare and social services and policy class, that I tell them, look at how we perceive how the government assists. If it's assisting people, we see it as welfare. We see it as an aid. We see it as assistance, right? Those are the types of words that are used when talking about providing help, which can, in essence, drive that stigma, that cultural perspective of receiving help and seeking self is, ooh, that's bad. It's taboo. You don't want to talk about that. You don't want to know. You don't want to be heard that you use food stamps and this because, oh man, you're leeching off the government. Oh, you can't do it on your own. No. However, we got these big corporations, banks, automobile companies, and such that got bailed out. In other words, they got billions upon billions of dollars thrown at them because they went bankrupt. But we see it as we're investing in these companies. No, these companies are now on welfare. But again, look at the types of words that we're using. If it's a big, large corporation, a big individual has a lot of money and is seeking assistance from the government, we call it an investment. When it's somebody that needs assistance, needs help, but it's down kind of, lower middle, just a regular Joe Schmo, it's seen as welfare. It's seen as assistance. So again, the words we use and we associate with seeking help and who we tie those words to carry a lot of weight as well. And again, this isn't about politics. This is, again, it's mostly about just look at the context. Look at the context of the words that we're using and how that can drive someone to not ask for help, right? But again, that's just kind of a little. The more you know, the more you kind of tidbit. Anyways, so as far as help here at EPCC, right, our lovely district, think of it really depends on what kind of help you need, right? You're not going to go to financial financial aid if you have issues with your grades. The same if you need financial help, you might not go to a professor because, well, we might be doing financial assistance. I'm just kidding. Anyways, if you have issues with academics, think about it. Your counselor would be a good thing. Tutors would be great, right? Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the Student Success Services. Bam, perfect. RAP, all these programs that are there for you. First time college and the experience. All these programs that the college has in place to help you succeed. Counselors that can help you plan your future and plan what degree plans are going to be best for you, what classes you should take in order to succeed, to help you transfer if that's the case, to help you plant that seed for your future. That sounded really good. Maybe that should be our next slogan. But anyways, your faculty, we're not just here to teach class, believe it or not. We're not these ogres that only exist in the realm of EPCC, right? There you go. Online tutoring. Bam, there you go. Can't make it to campus? Pop your laptop open. But do you recall when you were in elementary school and you might have seen your teacher out at one of the stores, a grocery store, and you were like, oh, it's Mr. So-and-so, it's Miss So-and-so. Oh my God, I can't believe they actually go and buy food. We're meat and bones. We eat, we drink, we breathe the same air. Not to mention, excuse me, we cough just like you. We've been there before. We were all students at some point or another. And I can assure you that at some point or another, we all needed help with something. Just because we are faculty and all this, we didn't have our things together 100% of the time. I can assure you that. I'll be the first one to raise my hand. Did I need some butt kicking once in a while? Heck yeah. It took, faculty, it took my teachers to be like, yo, hey, gotta focus, man. You can do great things, but right now, you ain't gonna do nothing. So again, that's what we're here for, guys. I tell my students, look, if you guys keep it to yourself, to me, you didn't turn in something. Right? If you don't come to me, you just didn't turn it in. I don't know what the story behind it is. I just know you didn't turn it in. But if you come and say, Mr. Salas, I'm sorry I couldn't do because okay, we can work with that now. Excuse me. Financial aid. There's even scholarships available. There's work study available. There's different ways that can assist you in financial situations. Emotional, if you're having issues with feelings and emotions, dealing with some sort of mental health issues, our counselors can provide up to 4 crisis interventions per job description. I'm not going to get too technical, but we're a institution of higher learning, not a mental health facility in essence, right? That's not what EPCC is here to do. But that doesn't mean that counselors can get involved, or even faculty. Not saying you can have a therapy session with a counselor, with a faculty member, but we can talk it out, man. We can hash it out. A lot of our faculty members have taken the mental health first aid, which in essence helps them understand mental health issues much more and provide you at least with some guidance as to where to go, or even how to manage some of the things that you might be dealing with. Food insecurity. We have the Tejano Food Pantry that is available for faculty, staff, and students in case there is anything of, not sure when your next meal is going to be, or how you're going to put food on the table for your family. So again, this is just some of the quick things that are available for you here at EPCC. One thing, and I know I've mentioned this before in other sessions, but we're working very close under the guidance and leadership of Dr. Paula Mitchell of bringing a mental health service and a mental health and a social service center to each of our 5 campuses. We actually just hired our first provider, which I am extremely happy about. I know it was kind of a long time coming, but we finally are getting it off the ground. This is going to serve as a kind of a one-stop shop, where we will be able to provide some sort of mental health assistance, where if you need to talk to somebody, bam, we're going to have someone there. If you need to find resources like, how do I pay? I can't pay for my bills. I need assistance with finding food. I don't know how to pay for my rent. I need insurance. I need this. This is going to be the place where we're going to gather all that information, or try to have all that information in one place for you guys to just, boom, this is where it's at. If you're also doing a program at EPCC that kind of deals with this, like child development, psychology, social work, this is going to be a place where students can intern as well. So it's going to have that educational component. And so, we're going to be extremely cognizant of confidentiality. Excuse me. We're going to be extremely conscious about even the location. And we know that it, just like this whole conversation is about, right, that it might be slow at first, and we're going to have to do a really good job at getting this information to you all. And word of mouth is going to be paramount, right? So I am trusted I can kind of lay the foundation with you all here to say, hey, this is coming, guys, if you need it. And then you'll definitely hear more about this. Check your emails. Within the next couple of months. I know by the start of the fall semester, this will definitely be much more and much better formulated and established once we get our provider on board. Oops, sorry, I missed that. Hold on, I had it on the chat. Created a resource guide on mental health last week's. Awesome. Wow. Yeah, Pat Duran, one of the counselors there, man. Miss Pat is awesome, and I know she's working a lot with from the counselors to librarians. I know Oscar Velasquez is doing an awesome job with the counselors throughout the entire. Yeah, Miss Pat is awesome. So again, we have great staff and great faculty, great people, man, at EPCC. All jokes aside, I've always said that I love what I do, but now being here at EPCC, I can actually say that I love what I do and I love where I do it at. Man, I wake up so enthused to go to work each day and things like this, man. This is I love doing this. I wish I could do it in person and kind of see everybody and I can, do my thing, but it is what it is. But man, it's great to see the initiative and the importance that the college is putting on things like these. As far as El Paso, first and foremost, you guys know who this guy is? This little sun-looking guy right here. Not a lot of people know who this is. Talk about extra credit. No, this is the official mascot for El Paso. This is the Amigo Man. Yep, we have a legitimate mascot, believe it or not. So this is our city of El Paso mascot, the Amigo Man. But anyways, so again, it really depends on what it is that you are looking for, right? So kind of do some soul searching. This isn't a time for pride, and I say that with the most wholehearted, not being a jerk about it. Really sit down and this isn't a time to be prideful. This isn't a time to be like, oh, buck up and, pick yourself up from the bootstraps. Nah, man, we all need some sort of assistance at some time or another, right? Know what it is that you're kind of looking for. What kind of help do you need? Be aware of some scams, guys. Unfortunately, there are times when people take advantage of people during vulnerable times. Case in point, right? The August 3rd shooting in 2019, the shooting about a couple of weeks ago at Cielo Vista, the natural disasters that occurred in other parts of Texas, right? Katrina and what's the last one that hit the Houston area? Not Ike. Was it? Yeah, Ubaldi. Yeah, thank you. Unfortunately, all these shootings and natural disasters that happen around the city, around the state, around the country, and people are not vulnerable. People take advantage of these situations and might seek out assistance for you to kind of to prey on your willingness to help. And thank you. Yeah, exactly. Even some instances where you have utility, well, quote unquote, these scammers who call as part of the electric company, the water company, the cable company, saying, if you don't pay now, we're going to cut off your water, your electricity. My mom had something like that happen recently, and I was like, oh yeah, here, hand me the phone. I'm not the nicest guy when I need to be. And so that was the end of that conversation. But again, know what's out there. And if not, ask others or check, right? There's things like the 411, 311, 211. Obviously, each have different levels. Like El Paso is a 311. I always get them. I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I always get them confused. I'm sorry for that. But I've heard so many good stories and good encounters with individuals say like, man, I call this, and they were with me for like 30 minutes, and they're the ones that called, and they just connected me, and they told me about everything. Boom, 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 boom. They even called me back to make sure that I was able to get a hold of. So again, there's people that are really there and willing to help. If not, even within the college, we have a lot of people that are involved with outside agencies. I serve on the board of directors for Family Services of El Paso. Again, full disclosure, I'm the treasurer for that board. I work closely with UTEP. I work closely with other organizations. And like I tell my students, and I share this with you all, I don't like not knowing something. So if I don't know something, I'm going to tell you flat out, I'm not sure, but let me find out. So again, even with the 211, 311, 411, it escaped my mind right now. But if at any point, if you guys reach out and I have my contact information after this, let me know and I will definitely share that with you. But just really quick, some of the services that are available, we have various food pantries from the El Paso's Fighting Hunger to just different other places. Rent assistance through Project Amistad, and I think it's called Amistad Cares, where they'll assist you even with bill assistance, right? That they'll pay depending on your financial issues. They can pay up to, I believe it was 4 to 6 months worth of bills for you. And even mental health services, like we were talking about earlier in this presentation, where agencies around town, especially our nonprofit agencies, will provide services at a discounted, extremely discounted rate, depending on your financial situation, what your income is. So again, these services are out there. All it takes is just asking, right? Just do it. Again, I understand that that's easier said than done, though. And so with that, I believe that puts me, right about at 150. Any questions, any comments, any concerns? I know this is kind of whoosh, whoosh, run and shoot, but definitely something that, like I said, it's not an easy topic in some instances, right? That some people might have this mentality that's been instilled in them for many, many years from their family, friends, their culture, their customs, even their perception on people, their own personal perceptions, that can really drive somebody or even a group of people to not seek assistance when the assistance is right there in front of them. All right. Well, if no questions, that's it. That's all, folks. Oh, me, and if you've been, this is I always try to keep updated with the pictures of mine and my little chiquito, our not even 2-year-old. He'll be 2 years in May. But again, feel free to reach out to me, guys. There's my contact information. Again, I'm in Valle Verde, A1102. My office number, 915-831-2469. Email csalas, as in Christian Salas, 69 at epcc.edu. He was having the Mr. Potato Head outlets, and he put the little fire or the cop one on me, and he was my little fireman, and we just snapped a quick picture there. But anyways, yeah, Norma, no, thank you guys for making it out. I know Friday right before spring break, I'm sure this is the last thing some of you might have wanted, but hey, I appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy schedules, and hopefully this is the last thing you do before you go out for spring break. And if so, have a very safe, relaxing, and healthy spring break. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. If you do, hey, there's my phone number, there's my email. But thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Salas, for the wonderful presentation. Again, we would like to thank everybody for being a wonderful audience and for coming in today. Earlier, we shared the Tejano Passport link. I'll go ahead and share it again just in case anybody missed it. And if anybody has any questions for Mr. Salas, feel free to turn on your mic or to use the chat box. We'll be back the week after spring break at 3 p.m. with a session on EPCC music with Yasmin Flores. We hope to see you all again. And again, we hope that everyone has a restful spring break. Thank you, everybody.